The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at CPA Academy. Very excited to have the lady CPA. Jawan is here, and also Ashley Fox will be presenting. I'll be handing it over in just one moment. Before I do, we're going to do a few housekeeping items, make sure everything's working for you, the audience, make sure audio is coming through, make sure you know about your handout, and of course, we'll let you know about your CPE. So let's get started. If you wouldn't mind drawing your attention over to that GoToWebinar control panel, there's a question pane. You can type questions there, comments if you have any technical issues. But if right now, if you wouldn't mind just saying hello, let us know where you're joining us from. I just want to make sure the audio is coming through for you. If you have questions during the session, once again, please post them in there. If there's time, there'll be some Q&A, and we'll also be sending the presenters a full list of all your questions a little later today. There's a handout available for this course. It was available in your account at cpaacademy.org, but you can download it right now through that handouts pane in the GoToWebinar control panel to follow along. This is a 1-hour course eligible for 1 CPE. In order to get that credit, you need to do 2 things: attend this full session. It's a 1-hour course and answer the polling questions. Those polls are going to be launched periodically. You just need to select the radio button that best fits your answer, submit, and you're good to go. We'll do our best to get that credit process for you a little later today. You should see it in your account by tomorrow. We'll also be recording the session, and we'll send you that link a little later today. If you wish to review, share with a colleague. So let me check in with our audience. We have Stephen in Charlotte, Theo in California. We got Virginia, Maryland, Cincinnati, South Carolina, Vegas, people from all over. Looks like things are working well, and that is my cue to step aside. So Jawan, thank you so much for being here today. Our audience is ready, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nathan. Always such a pleasure to work with you guys. So I am Jawan, the Lady CPA. My organization is the Lady CPA Network. We are a nonprofit organization, and we aid in the advancement of African American women in the accounting and finance profession. Although we like to present all of our information to everyone, it's not exclusive to only women or only African American women. The organization itself is, and our goal is to provide a network and platform for African American women in accounting and finance as a support system and collaborative body of professionals. I founded the organization about 2.5 years ago out of a need that I had myself, which was someone to assist me with the CPA exam. I was looking for an accountability partner, someone around my age, my experience, wife, mother, all of that good stuff going on, who would know and understand the situations and predicaments and study schedules as I was seeing them. Versus, a student who doesn't have all of that going on yet and they're able to jump right into the CPA exam. For me, it was a bit more difficult. So I founded this organization for that particular reason. So what we do is we provide coaching, we provide mentoring, career advice to women. We, of course, host these webinars, again, wanting to make sure that we include everyone, and always making sure that we bring information to you that you want to see. So I always encourage anyone, if there's a webinar that you have not found the information on and you think it would be a fantastic topic, you guys can always reach out to our organization. I go through, I find speakers, I find people who are really knowledgeable about the subjects that our listeners and viewers want to see. And that's exactly what we do. So I thank everyone for attending. I think this is going to be a very informative webinar with Miss Ashley Fox. So Ashley is a lawyer out of Atlanta. She is a certified life coach and business coach, and she is an author. Unfortunately, her camera isn't working because I really wanted you guys to see her and meet her, but she has a plethora of information that she's going to give us, and she'll definitely give you her contact information to reach out to her if you need more information. So without further delay, here's Ashley.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I am disappointed that you guys are unable to see me, but I'm really excited to be here and to provide this information to you all. Protecting your most valuable asset, your brand, when it comes to your business is a subject matter that is often overlooked. So I'm so happy to spend some time with you guys today to discuss it. First things first, I want to just let you guys know what my goal is, and that is to provide you with a foundation and what it means to legally protect your brand so that you can confidently go out there and grow your business. I'm not sure how many of you are considering starting your own firm already have started your own firm, but I hope this information that you guys learned today will give you some things to consider when it comes to protecting your brand and going out there and confidently getting clients and making that money. And so why is this subject matter so important? It is important because it's going to allow you to build your legacy. If anything, we've learned the importance about protecting our legacy, building a legacy. A lot of times our why when it comes to starting a business is grounded in our family and being able to provide for them and being able to provide generational wealth. And in order to do that, we have to have ownership over some things. And so that's why it's so important to take steps to protect your brand and your business. And also when you do so, it's going to allow you to leverage opportunities with confidence. You're going to be able to go into those meetings and those partnership agreements and those collaborations, present your contracts, present your pricing and your fees, and be able to close those deals. And then lastly, taking ownership over your brand and protecting your business is essential. It's a big mistake that we see time and time again that people forget to do. And I want to make sure that you guys at least have the knowledge and the information so that you can go out there and protect your brand. So before I get more into the subject matter, I want to quickly introduce myself again. I am Ashley. I am the founding attorney of Fox Legal Firm, which is a boutique law firm located in Atlanta, Georgia. We help entrepreneurs take the time to protect their brand so that they can go out there and maximize their profits and their earning potential. And I'm going to speak a little bit more on that later on in this presentation. But ultimately, I love to help my entrepreneurs lay that legal foundation so that they can go out there and close those deals, speak about their business, and know that it is protected. And I'm so excited to be here and to discuss this subject matter with you all. And so I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to be talking about contracts and trademark registration, and these are key protections for your business. And I'm going to quickly give you a little information on contracts. I think this is huge, especially in your industry, to utilize contracts in your business. It is a way to make sure you and your clients are on the same page. So I think this is a really important subject matter that I'm going to quickly cover in our conversation today. And so with that said, I want to go ahead and I want to launch my first polling question. If someone can go ahead and do that for me.
Thanks, Ashley. I'll launch that poll. And that is up. We'll give everybody about a minute and we'll go over those results.
Perfect. Thank you.
And don't forget, guys, as you have questions or as Ashley's speaking, if you think of a question you have, make sure you drop it into the question box because we will go over those towards the end of her presentation.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're over 95% voted. And do you currently utilize contracts in your business? 68% are saying yes.
Great, great. That is a great outcome. I'm so excited to hear that. I see 67% have said yes, 14% are at no and verbal agreements mostly. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about why it's so important that we make sure that we are utilizing contracts in our business. So in order to protect your brand, you must set clear expectations in writing in an agreement. So an agreement is a key part of this statement. A lot of times we close deals in emails, in direct messages, via social media, via text messages, and that is a no-go, guys. That is a way to kind of hammer out the details of what you're going to be providing to your clients, but that is no way to seal the deal. You must put everything in writing in an actual agreement that has signatures on it. This is the way to set clear expectations when it comes to your business. So what does that mean? So when do you utilize these contracts? So if you're in the process of starting a business, building a business, you're going to be hiring a few people, right? And these people might be taking your photograph. They might create your logo for you or your website, right? And these people that you are hiring, you absolutely need to utilize a contract when working with them. This is a part that a lot of people overlook or don't think it's necessary. So if you're hiring someone to make a logo for your amazing accounting firm, you want to make sure that this graphic designer hands over ownership rights to your logo. It goes kind of against our gut feeling, but when we hire someone to create a logo for us, even though you're paying them for that creation and you're going to use it in your business, at the end of the day, they still won't own ownership rights to that logo that they have created for you. So what happens is a year from now, 2 years from now, you're in business and you might see someone else with your, if not identical logo, a logo that is very similar that went to your graphic designer. And that graphic designer will be in their right to have sold that logo to another person because you didn't utilize a contract that stated you want ownership rights, intellectual property rights over that logo. So this is really big, and this is something that a lot of people overlook when they're building the brand. And so a lot of times we're hiring contractors, photographers, it's the same thing. I know you're thinking it's my photo, it's me and my picture. Why would anyone want ownership rights over that? Why would the photographer maintain ownership rights over that after I've paid them? Well, they do, unless there is a contract. So a very simple clause, a very small paragraph can really change the outcome in terms of your ownership rights over your photographs, and that's really big. So utilizing contracts is essential when you are building the brand, and it's even more essential when you are growing the brand. So now you have your clients, you're entering into agreements with them. Listen, this is so important. When you are working with your clients and you are hammering out what service you're actually going to be providing them, you want that in writing. Why? Because people want a 5-course meal on a McDonald's budget. They want it all. They want as much as they can get for as little as possible. So they will believe that you're going to provide them quarterly reviews, provide them everything in your most grand package, but they think they're going to pay the least amount of money for that. And you know, as business owners, that is just not how it works. We don't want to be overworked and underpaid. We want to be able to provide value, and we want to be able to do that at the prices that we set. And so in order to have clear expectations with your clients, in order to make sure you guys are on the same page, in order to understand their obligations as well as your obligations, you want to make sure you have a contract. Accountants and lawyers, we overlap in the same way. And one way that we have to provide services to our clients, we need their documents, we need information from them, right? And so we run into problems when we have clients that don't provide us with the information that we need in order to finish our end of the bargain. And when that happens, there can be a dispute as to how do you refund their money? What do you refund? How much do you refund? You don't want to be in that situation. You want that all hammered out in a contract. You want it to state very clearly, I'm taking you on as a client. I need to make sure that you are providing me with the documents, with the information that I need in order to assist you. If you don't do that, then this is the amount of money that will be refunded. This is the amount of money that you will be able to get back. It's not going to be 100%. And then also when it comes to hiring, are you hiring an independent contractor? Are you actually hiring an employee in your business? We know those have two different implications, and we need to make sure we have everything in writing in terms of what our people are going to be responsible for. So I hope that makes sense and why it's so important to utilize contracts in your business. I say if you'd be upset about losing the money, then you need a contract. And I also want to speak on, don't be nervous about presenting contracts to your clients. I hear a lot of times from my clients that they are unsure. They're a little intimidated by presenting their clients with contracts. You should not be intimidated by that. It shows that you're a professional. It shows that you're serious about your business, and it shows that you want to protect your interests as well as your clients' interests. And so if you are thinking about having a contract in your business, absolutely do it. And it should become a part of your process. At my firm, we send out a proposal. They get a contract, they get an invoice all in one. As soon as they accept their proposal, they get a link to a contract. In a contract, you have to initial several clauses and you have to sign off. As soon as they do that, they get an invoice. It's completely automated. It's completely a part of my system. And that's exactly how it should be for you guys. From start to finish, you want to make sure that your clients understand where you are. And if you come across a client that doesn't want to sign a contract, listen to that. And know sometimes I have people reach out to me and they want to fight chargebacks, or they're not getting paid and they want to pursue a lawsuit. A lot of times there are red flags or signals that indicate that this might not be a good client. And if someone is unwilling to sign a contract, that might be an indication that this is not a client that you want to take on. So absolutely utilize contracts in your business. So most of this presentation is going to be on trademark registration, but I wanted to quickly cover contracts and why they are so essential, especially in your firm or if you're thinking about starting a firm. So now we're going to transition into trademark registrations, which is a subject matter that is so important. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys about trademark registration and the importance of registering your trademarks in your business. And so in order to get started, I want to go ahead and start with another poll question.
Thank you, Ashley. We'll launch that. And that is up. We'll give everybody about a minute. All right, we'll give everybody about 10 more seconds. And Ashley, looks like the majority of our audience are saying A and B only, followed by all of the above.
So the majority is correct, A and B only. It is just do it in the swoosh logo. So let's go ahead and let's learn a little bit more about trademarks and what they are and why you need them in your business. So trademark registrations are brand identifiers. And when you are building a brand, there are some key things that signal to your customers that they're working with you in your business. And so I love to use Nike because they are great at having trademark registrations and showing you how they work. So Nike has their business name, their word mark, which is the actual word Nike. But then they also have their slogan, which is just do it. And then they have their logo, which is that swoosh mark. So they have 3 brand identifiers that immediately convey to someone that they are purchasing something from the Nike brand. And Nike works very, very hard to protect those trademark identifiers. And that is why brand protection is so important, because people purchase based off of your trademark, based off of your name, and based off of the reputation that you have around those trademarks. And if you want to even break it down anymore, I love to use toilet paper as an example. If you go down that toilet paper aisle, there are so many different brands of toilet paper, and there are people that are loyal to just one toilet paper brand, and they only purchase that, probably unless there's a really good sale. But nonetheless, people are particular about the brands that they buy from, even down to toilet paper, paper towel. And that is brand loyalty. And so when it comes to building your brand, your business name, your slogan, that is what you need to have in mind. That reputation that you are building around your trademarks, that reputation that you are building so that people trust your brand and want to buy from your brand. And when it comes to your brand identifiers, they are going to know that they are buying from you based off of that business name. And that is why it's so important. Nike can put their name on a shirt, on shoes, on shorts, on athletic wear, and people will buy it because they expect a certain amount of quality or product from Nike. And so that's why it's so important. But there are other ways in which we have trademarks. I've spoke about the obvious ones, but I wanted to go ahead and hop in with poll question number 3, because I want to talk about other trademarks that are not as popular, but that could also be a part of your brand.
Thank you, Ashley. We're going to launch that. This is which one is your trademark, and that is up. Give everybody about 30 more seconds.
And Ashley, while they're working on that poll, we do have a quick question from Scott. He says, Ashley, we had a logo done a few years back before your advice without a contract. Any way to lock down ownership rights to the logo after the fact, and perhaps you'll cover that?
So you would definitely need to reach out to the individual that you hired as a graphic designer and see if they have anything on their website or any policy or procedure that they follow when it comes to their copyrights. If they don't, I, of course, don't know your personal situation, so I can't offer individualized legal advice right now, but I would definitely look into going ahead and deciding whether or not you should go copyright that logo or go ahead and trademark that logo.
All right, we're going to close this poll. Looks like about 75% of our audience are saying all of the above.
And that is correct. That is great. So color, sound, and symbol are all trademarks. And so what is a color trademark? Are you guys thinking of one that might be actually really popular? Where you see the color and you immediately know the brand? That would be Tiffany blue. That is a registered trademark color, and they go above and beyond to make sure that that Tiffany blue is not being used at all without permission. So Tiffany blue is a registered trademark color. Sound is another really important trademark registration. Can you guys think of any sounds that you hear and you immediately know the brand or the company? That's a little tricky, but when you hear a sound, there are sounds where you immediately know the brand. Can you think of any? Well, there's NBC. When you see NBC has a sound trademark, I can try to do it, but everyone says I fail at it, but it's that dun, 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 NBC. Another one is Fox Century 21. A lot of movie industries and movie companies have sound trademarks. So Disney has a sound right before their movies. MGM has a sound right before their movies. So there are a lot of sound trademarks. And the next time you hear a sound, wonder if it's trademark or not, or a color. And then of course a symbol. And Nike is an example of a symbol or a logo that represents a brand. So let's further discuss this. So trademarks are your brand identifiers. So that means it is your business name, your course name, your logos, your slogans, your sounds, your symbols, your colors. These are all trademarks. These are all ways that you are able to identify a brand and that you are buying from a brand. And as I'm talking about these, think about brands that you are absolutely loyal to, that you only purchase a particular product from this brand, and consider why. Why do you have brand loyalty? Why do you love a particular brand? And think about how many people have that same loyalty, and you'll start to understand why brands and your trademarks are your most valuable asset when it comes to your business. And I love to say you are not in a position to maximize your profits until you own your branding. And I'm going to get into this and explain how this is the case because most people do not realize the various ways that you can expand on your brand ownership and the ways in which you need brand ownership in order to expand your brand. So let's talk about all of these ways in which you can expand your brand through brand ownership and through trademark registration. So licensing agreements. This is one way in which you're able to get bigger deals and work with other individuals and allow them to use the course or the business that you have started in order to make some money. And so when you own the trademarks to your brand, there are going to be times when people want to partner with you, when people want to work with you, when people want to use your course in order to add to their courses or add to their business. And so in order to do that, they're going to want to enter into an agreement with you. And we call this a licensing agreement. You have to think about your trademarks as property because in the legal world, that's exactly what they are. They're intangible property. And so when we say licensing agreements, we really mean that you are renting your property for a fee. And so if you have this amazing course that helps people and another individual wants this course to be a part of a huge masterclass, you're able to sign an agreement and allow them to rent your trademark for a certain amount of time at a certain price point. And this is very prevalent in the course community, in the business community. I love working with tax accountants and financial advisors because we are able to really provide both legal services as well as financing services or finances information to our clients. And so partnering with another brand that offers a different aspect is huge. And so we only want to partner with individuals that own their own brand because we don't want to get in any legal battles partnering with someone that really does not own what they are selling. And so licensing agreements are huge. Once you own your trademarks, you're able to rent them out to other people. One way to see this in the real world is with Band-Aid. Band-Aid has a ton of licensing agreements with Disney. That is why they're able to have cartoon characters and Disney princesses on their Band-Aids for children. They entered into a licensing agreement with Disney. Another way that you can maximize your profits off of your trademark registrations or your brand ownership, as I like to say, is through selling your business or your course. The ultimate goal for most business owners is to get to the point where they have someone knocking on their door offering to buy their business. I dream of the day when that happens. We see Facebook buying Instagram, we see Microsoft considering purchasing TikTok. That is when you have made it. But that opportunities will not happen if you do not own your trademarks. No business is going to buy another business that doesn't have their trademarks. Why? Because you ultimately do not own your brand identifier. People use Instagram based on that name. They download, they find the app in the App Store by typing in that name. So if you don't own that, anyone can go out there and use the word Instagram, use the word TikTok, because no one owns it. So you want to make sure that if you ever one day want to build something, build a course, build anything that you hope one day to sell to another business or individual, you want to make sure that you own your trademarks. Partnerships. Partnerships are big. I have clients that want to have their products or their services bought or sold in another store, a bigger store, right? So some of my clients want their hair care products sold in Target or Walmart. Those partnership agreements, those collaboration agreements, they will not happen unless you have, again, ownership over your brand identifiers. This is because this is your asset. This is how people know they are buying your course, your hair care product, whatever it is that you are selling. Franchising. If there's a checklist on what you need in order to franchise your business, trademark registration is probably number one on the list, because you're basically selling your business name to other businesses and allowing them to use that to open up a business in their town, in their state. And so in order to do that, you have to have ownership over that name. And then most importantly, it comes down to being able to confidently expand your business, right? And so when I talk about confidently being able to expand your business, I'm saying that when you have brand ownership, this means that you can do interviews, you can sell across the United States, you can confidently talk about your brand and your business, knowing two things. One thing, that you are not infringing on another company's business name. And when I say infringing, I mean using another company's name without their permission. A lot of times when I meet with individuals, they're really concerned that someone's going to copy their business name, their big idea. What doesn't cross their mind as often is that they might be the one copying off of someone else. Typically, we think of people that are watching our moves and lurking and, paying attention to what we are doing when we think of copiers. We don't think about the person that just so happened to have a very similar idea as ours, and that is usually the case. Usually, we have individuals that come up with the same business name or a very similar business name, and we run into issues. So a lot of times we don't think we're the ones that are copying or infringing on someone else's trademark, but a lot of times you are, and you don't even know it. It's not done maliciously. We're just all influenced by a lot of the same current events and pop cultures, and so that is reflective in our business names. And so when you have your trademark registration, the first point is, you know that you're the only one with that business name in your industry, which should be a huge relief. And then secondly, you know that no one else will be able to use your business name, your course name, whatever it is that you have trademarked without your permission. And that is big and that is powerful, because now in your industry, you own rights to that branding and that business name. And as I get more into what trademark registration is, I hope you guys will start to see how much power that is and why that means so much. So let's talk about trademark registration. So remember, trademarks are your brand's identifiers, right? So whenever you hear a trademark, think a name of your product, a name of your business, a name of a book series, a name, a slogan, a logo. All of those are trademarks. And so when we do the trademark registration process, we are essentially registering those trademarks under our business name, saying we are claiming ownership over this. This is our brand that we are developing and that we own. And so we do this through the United States Patent Trademark Office. And when you do it through this office, you have federal trademark rights. This means that if your business is based in New York and you have trademark right ownership over your business name, that means a person in California in your industry won't be able to have that business name. You'll be able to send them a cease and desist, which is a letter saying you need to stop using this business name within 7 days. If you don't, these are the ramifications. A lot of times there are money damages involved and a lawsuit pending, right? Because they're benefiting off of your brand identifiers. And that is not okay because they're causing, you know, customer confusion. They might be trying to confuse your customers. We don't really know their intentions, but intentions don't matter when it comes to trademark infringement. Intentions do not matter. So that's really important. It doesn't matter once you go through this trademark registration process and you own it, it doesn't matter where the person is located in the United States, they're not allowed to use that business name without your permission. So let me again break down why this matters so much and what the purpose of this is. So when I speak to you guys about brands and brand identifiers and brand loyalty, we have to understand the connection to brand loyalty and the money, right? So people buy from a certain brand because they like what the brand represents. They like the quality of the brand. It's a brand that they just trust, right? And different brands bring out different viewpoints. And I love to use Chick-fil-A in this example because when it comes to brand loyalty, some people stand by Chick-fil-A. They like the customer experience, they like the food, they like Chick-fil-A. Some people, on the other hand, will not step foot in a Chick-fil-A because they do not believe in that brand's messaging or what that brand represents or where they stand on political issues. Whatever it may be, people have opinions when it comes to branding. And so because of that, because of brand loyalty, because people buy based on how they feel about a brand, that's money. And when you have a good reputation around your brand, when your customers are telling other people, when you're getting referrals, you don't want anyone to be able to profit off of your hard work, off of the branding that you've created. So you need trademark registration. The purpose of trademark registration is to avoid confusion, deter misleading advertising, and help consumers distinguish one brand from another. It would be complete mayhem if there was Starbucks that ended with an S and Starbucks that ended with a Z. There would be complete confusion. People wouldn't know which Starbucks to go to. They would just start going to both. And the original Starbucks would be really upset because they would be losing a lot of money. They'd be losing a lot of customers. There's this new Starbucks with a Z that is popping up and taken away from their clients, and it just would not be okay. And that's exactly how you should feel when it comes to your business. You do not want someone else benefiting off of the hard work that you are putting into your business. So you don't want another course or another ebook that sounds similar to yours or that is identical to yours, because you don't want your consumers or your clients to be confused. You want it to be very easy for them to buy from you. You want them to be able to purchase the real version, is what I say, and not the knockoff. And so what we see a lot of times is we see business owners that go above and beyond, companies, big companies go above and beyond to prevent this consumer confusion. And so for a little current events, right now in the trademark world, we have Apple that is in the process of trying to stop a company called H.E.R. Apple believes that this company, H.E.R, would cause consumer confusion. H.E.R, from what I understand, is not going to be selling computers or software. I believe they're not even in the tech world, but Apple feels strongly enough to pursue a lawsuit that H.E.R, this company H.E.R, should not be able to register their trademarks. And this happens on a daily basis. And so that same energy that big companies put into protecting their brand, you can too. You can protect your brand as well with a trademark registration. You can protect your hard work with a trademark registration. And so I love to say, don't allow another business to profit from your hard work. We put in a lot of long hours, late nights, early mornings, and we are building a reputation when it comes to our business. We have clients that are making referrals. We are doing our best to stand out in our marketplace. And the last thing you want is for someone to pop up that has a name similar to yours that will create confusion, that will allow them to profit off of the legwork that you've put into your business. And the best way to prevent that from happening is through trademark registration. So after trademark registration, how are you able to shut all these businesses down? You simply are. Once you get that certificate, you can start sending out cease and desist letters that say, you are infringing on my trademark registration. You are no longer allowed to do that. I'm giving you X amount of days to stop using my trademark registration. Typically, that is enough to get individuals to stop using your trademark registration, but it is very powerful. It's a huge tool. And again, this is why it is your business's most valuable asset. And so I love to throw in current events when it comes to trademark registrations because it's always in the news. Like I told you guys about Apple versus H.E.R. If you're up on like pop culture, we have an individual named B. Simone who's a very popular online influencer. And just recently, she was accused of copyright infringement because she released a book that contained articles and blogs from other individuals without their permission. And this was a really big deal because the question comes down to, did that individual have protection? Did they have copyright registration? Did they protect their brand? And that's going to determine whether or not they're able to sue her and what damages they will receive. And then now we have Nick Cannon. If you guys know of his show Wildin' Out, it is a very popular show on MTV owned by Viacom. And Nick Cannon, this was his idea. This is something that he started years ago. And he has created it to be a multi-million-dollar brand. However, he does not have brand ownership over it. This is a great way to tag in contracts and the importance of having really great contracts because he has no ownership rights over Wildin' Out. And unfortunately, when he was fired, he lost everything when it comes to Wildin' Out because the trademark registration is owned by Viacom. And so although he created this brand, although he spent years making this brand a multi-million-dollar brand, he is now out. They have fired him and they can easily place someone else as the face of this brand now. And the lesson to take from this is you do not want to be the face of something you don't ultimately own. And that's very important, right? You don't want to build a firm, put in all the work, and not take steps to own it, not take steps to register it, not take steps to have that power. If Nick Cannon had taken steps to obtain ownership over this brand, he would have been at least in a power of position to enter into negotiations, to enter into an agreement where he could possibly sell this brand to Viacom. And this is also something that is very prevalent in the trademark world, is selling your brand to another company that wants to use your trademark. I just actually assisted a client in doing that. Very small business owner starting a nonprofit, but a huge multi-million-dollar firm wants to use the name that she went and registered. And now we had to enter into negotiations and work out the fee for her to sell this trademark that she on a whim registered. And that's how important trademarks are to businesses. That's how important they are to being able to make money, right? And Nick Cannon lost out because he didn't understand the importance of trademark registration, brand ownership, or contracts. And so I want to kind of talk about now big takeaways that I want you guys to actually be able to utilize in your business if you plan on starting a business or if you currently have a business. And so the first major thing I want you guys to take away is utilize contracts. Verbal agreements are not contracts. You need it in writing, and you need your contracts to be clear. I know maybe not you guys, but a lot of people go to Google for their contracts and piece together various art statements and clauses to create a contract. Don't do that. It is so necessary that you get a contract that is drafted by an attorney that's going to break everything down, that really specifies your expectations, your services, your obligations, your client's obligations, all of that good stuff. So contracts, contracts, contracts. And then when it comes to your trademarks, let's talk about how to choose a trademark for your business. This is some really important information. So when it comes to choosing your trademark, I know a lot of times we want to go with descriptive business names. How else are your clients going to know what services you provide if there's not some indication in your business name? And I'm here to say, stay away from descriptive business names. The United States Patent and Trademark Office, and that is the office where we submit your trademark applications, they do not approve descriptive business names. It is something that is not allowed. It is one of the major rejections for businesses. So when I say business name, I'm meaning your business name, your course name, your product name, your book name, anything that you are putting a name to, it can't or it shouldn't be descriptive. And so if you have a course that you are coming out with, I insist that you don't call it Accounting 101, Accounting for Businesses, Beginning Accounting, anything of that nature. Stay away from those business names. I know a lot of times we think in an oversaturated market, or how are we going to stand out? Or you will stand out. You will stand out by the service that you provide, the way in which you provide it, your onboarding system, and a name. A name is a way that's going to make you stand out. And so one recommendation that I have when it comes to choosing a business name is making up a word. And so I say, you know, to my clients often, think of 2 words that really represent your business and what it represents. I know a young lady, she's not a client of mine, but she took 2 words, empower, it was empower and modify, and she created amplify. And that was her new word. And she has a story behind those 2 words now. And so I strongly recommend taking 2 words that mean something to you and combining them in a unique manner, and having that as a part of your brand story, having that as a way to stand out in the market, because now you know for sure no one's going to have that name or that word that you made up. And that's how Google started. That's how Clorox started. That's how Kodak started. This is not Uber. This is not something that's, you know, out of the ordinary. Another suggestion is to take a word like apple and associate it with something completely different. So although Apple does not sell any fruit or fruit, it sells electronics. and software, computers. And so they put Apple on something that is completely not related to what an apple is. And so that's another way to create a name that really stands out and is unique. So I challenge you guys to do that in your business. And then how will people then know what services you are providing? That's going to come down to your messaging and your marketing, which is so important. That's going to come down to what you say about your brand, how you present it, how you market it. That is where you talk about the services that you provide. But stay away from names that are descriptive. They are not names that you're able to trademark or register. These are not names that will allow you to stand out in your marketplace. So again, I challenge you guys to utilize contracts in your business and then come up with business names that are unique and allows you to stand out in your market. And so my last and final question as I am wrapping up is poll question number 4, if we can go ahead and do that question.
Thank you, Ashley. We've launched that poll. Leave that up for about a minute.
And while we're waiting on those answers to come in, I have a question for you, Ashley. It says, if a company has a trademark on something that is never used or a product never made, can someone else use it? Similar to someone buying up domain names that they will never use.
Yes, absolutely. Again, I'm going to say before I answer any of these questions that this is not personalized legal advice, but typically what happens is we would go through a cancellation proceeding. We would, of course, need evidence to show that this trademark is not actually in use, but there is a way to go through that process. And it's not allowed to hold on to trademarks that you are not actually using. And so every 5 years, you have to file what they call maintenance documents to show that you are actually still using your trademarks.
I know a lot of people do that with domains too. They buy up a lot of domains, and then if someone, wants it, they sell them at higher prices.
Exactly, which is awful. And there is a way to go through that process, but it's highly expensive when it comes to domain names, to take those away from the individual that kind of just is holding on to them. But there is a way to do that as well.
Thank you, Ashley. We've closed that poll.
Oh, great. So let's see. 26% yes, can't wait to be my own boss. 17% no, I prefer the stability of a 9-to-5. And 29% both boss and employee. And then 28% undecided. Interesting. So it is hard work to be your own boss and to have your own firm. And there are definitely days, especially when I was just starting out, that I was like, I would like the stability of a 9-to-5. So I totally understand that. And most of my clients actually are in the both category. They both have their own business, but they also are an employee. And that's oftentimes what you need when you are just starting out. And undecided, take some time. I know a lot of people try to pressure others into entrepreneurship. It's not a way to escape, a bad boss or wanting to set your own hours. It is definitely a lot of work and not a decision that should be made on a whim. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, we have one. Well, they're rolling in. Hold on. So one says, this is from Michael. I see can't get it out. Breweries use other companies' likeness in their branding all the time. For example, milk stout with Oreo cookies. If Nabisco doesn't have Oreo license in the alcohol industry, is that okay?
So I'm going to go on a whim and say that those companies have a licensing agreement, what I talked about a little bit earlier, where they partner with another brand in order to add Oreos into their ice cream or into their beer, or a lot of times we see Girl Scout cookies on ice cream. Those are what we call licensing agreements, what I mentioned a little bit earlier, and that's how you're able to partner with other brands to expand your reach. So 9 times out of 10, a big company like Nabisco, they have a licensing agreement with that company.
And I deleted one too quick, but I read it, so I don't know who it was from, but it was actually a good question. She says she sees, or he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know who it was. You have that FL in your logo, and I guess they were asking, is that trademarked?
My FL, Fox Legal Firm, that is descriptive. So we do not have the trademark for Fox Legal Firm, but for all of our courses, we do. And so that's where it comes down to strategy and figuring out what you actually want to go through with the trademark registration process with, and what you don't want to go through with the trademark registration process with. And so staying away from those descriptive names, it adds no protection, but going ahead and creating unique course names and business names, that is the way to go.
Great. Oh, we have another one. This one is really good too. So it says, regarding on the same context, regarding descriptive names, if a business has a made up name and you combine words with a third word like tax. So if it's Sun Moon Tax LLC, does the word tax make it descriptive?
And that is a really good question. And that's where we get into trademark strategy and why it's so important to work with an attorney when you go through this process. So looking at Sun, Moon, or Mun text, we would have to decide if we want to disclaim a descriptive word. And I don't want to bog you guys down with too much legal concepts, but there is a way where what we do is we disclaim the descriptive word and we only protect the non-descriptive word. So the word that you've made up is legally protected through trademark registration, and that descriptive word like tax isn't. But again, that's going to come down to strategy and what we think the best route is to take with that.
Okay, and this question I purposely saved to last because I'm sure others have the same question, is how much do you charge for a trademark search? And now search is different from the whole process, right? So is that separate? You do a search separate from actually filing a trademark, or is it all together?
Okay, that's a really good question, and it is separate. So our process is we first do a search, and that search is a separate process that we go through before we even go to the trademark application submission phase. And so we like to do a search first to see if your name is even available to you. And so when we do the search, we go through a database that's not Google, that's not public, and we get a list of all of the business names that are similar to yours, whether it's trademark registered, whether it's not, whether it's just on Google, whether if it's just on Instagram. And so the search is a different process than submitting the application. Once we conduct that search, you will get an opinion letter that says, you know, your name is high risk. There's another business that's using one that is similar to yours, or your name seems low risk. There's no one else out there right now using that business name. Let's go ahead and submit that application. Based on the search report results, will determine whether or not we will submit an application for your trademark registration. But the search versus the submission of application are two different phases. Our search process starts at $750.
And how long does the process itself take? So from search to submitting all of the information to have your trademark approved?
The trademark application process takes anywhere from 9 to 12 months. It's a very long process. It's not because it's on our end, but we are working with the government and they have a lot of applications to process. And so once we submit that application to the United States Patent and Trademark Office, we do not hear back from them for 3 months minimum. So that is the bare minimum, 3 months. And then usually in that 3 to 4 month range is when we'll have a correspondence. When we submit your application, it is submitted to an attorney, and that attorney examines your application. They do a research on your business. They go to your website. They really look and see what services you are providing or what product you are selling, and they review your application. Once that review is done, then they reach out to you. So it's about at the 3 to 4 month range. Once we hear from them, we either know that your application is accepted or it's rejected. If it's rejected, that doesn't mean that all hope is lost. There are some options that you have in order to kind of keep your application going. But again, it's a 9 to 12 month process, and that's if your application is not rejected. If it's rejected, it goes up to 18 months to almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yes.
We have a question that came in. Is LegalZoom a reliable source for contracts?
Okay. LegalZoom, I just can't say that LegalZoom is a reliable source for anything. LegalZoom is not an attorney, is not a law firm, not recommend LegalZoom in good faith. Actually, a large percentage of my business and other trademark attorneys' businesses come from LegalZoom, and the bad contracts or bad trademark applications they provide. And I tell my clients all the time, LegalZoom does not use LegalZoom to file their trademark applications because it's just not the way to go when it comes to protecting something as important as your business.
And I can actually speak firsthand to that. Not for trademark, but my husband went through LegalZoom to copyright his. He does plays and scripts, so he went to copyright one of his scripts, and they lost the paperwork. It took forever, and he actually ended up submitting everything himself directly to the trademark filing, whatever. So he ended up doing it himself anyway because they couldn't find the paperwork, didn't know what happened to it, and all of this back and forth. So yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of horror stories when it comes to LegalZoom, unfortunately.
So Ashley, let everyone know how they can reach you.
Absolutely. On this last slide right here, it's just a list of ways in which we help individuals that are looking to start their business. We offer legal templates, business courses, as well as trademark registrations. If you're interested to learn more about our process, you can always visit our website at www.ashleejfox.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at attorney_Ashley. I'm always giving away tidbits and information, things that you should consider as business owners or potential business owners. And if you're looking to book a discovery call to learn more about our services, you can send us an email at info@foxlegalfirm.com.
All right, guys. So thank you again, everyone who tuned in to this webinar. Again, we host them weekly. We have a couple more coming up. One we have coming up on organizing your workflow with Janelle Williams. She's a professional organizer. And then we have another one coming up in mid-September. It is with the Tax Divas on how to grow your tax practice. You may have 50, you may want 50,000. So whatever it is, we do have that webinar coming up as well. Again, I am Jawan, the Lady CPA, and the same thing, you can find us on all social media at the Lady CPA, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you want to link up with me on LinkedIn, my real name is Jawan Williams on LinkedIn. And of course, this webinar, as well as all of our others, are loaded onto our YouTube channel, and that YouTube is also the Lady CPA. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you in about a week or so, and please continue to follow us if you have any questions. Always feel free to reach out, admin at the Lady CPA Network. Thank you, and thanks again, CPA Academy and Nathan.
Jawan, thank you so much. Another great webinar. Ashley, thank you so much for being here today. Great session. Lots of thank yous coming into our chat, so thank you so much. To our audience, thank you so much for attending. We will do our best to get your CPE process a little later today. We also recorded this session, and we'll send you that link a little later today as well. Thanks so much, everyone. Hope to see you all at future webinars.